Hey, what's up? This is Zach here at the Futurist Conference in Toronto with Joshua from GOAT Gallery. Super excited for this. Can you talk us through a little bit about your role in kind of comparison to the other people on your team and how you guys work together, maybe to kick things off?
Nice. Yeah. So I'm an NFT artist, but foremost an artist. So I consider myself a contemporary artist. And as part of that, you come across NFTs and a lot of technology, digital art. What is the most modern form of art? What's the greatest technology you can use to make art? And that changes every day. That's always evolving. But as of right now, I think we're at a place like this, the way the art is here. And I always try to make art that captures that movement, but also help like endorse it, such as like being here, talking to people in the community, like having NFTs naturally leads you to crypto and blockchain and dealing with crypto, and then it gets you into trading it and just I ended up immersing in the community a lot in a lot of different ways, but foremost as an artist, yeah.
And what like blockchain do you mint your NFTs on?
So most of my work is on a platform called object.com. It's
Okay.
a Tezos blockchain.
Oh, cool.
And the original idea behind that was I liked the idea of a crypto that was pretty on par with the US dollar and selling NFTs as pop art, like a print, like Warhol did with this kind of frequent sales for, like lesser amount, but I also like have the OpenSea profiles and these sorts of things like where we're using Ethereum for sometimes like higher costs and like things like that. So a bit of both, but I want to start something new soon to like try new blockchains and begin new collections.
And what kind of is your inspiration for the art that you're making now?
Well, I guess like I said, the sort of idea as a contemporary artist is that you're reflecting the time you're in. Like a lot of artists, maybe you pick a certain like era to express your work is from a certain time, something traditional. But I think when you're an artist trying to reflect today's world, it's always like just like a mirror of like what's happening in society. So you can draw inspiration from anything, but typically like the technology is a big inspiration, specifically like cryptocurrency and like the aesthetic of crypto and money. And like the idea of an artist becoming rich from crypto and like things like this is like a big inspiration, I think, to me.
How like widespread is sort of would you say adoption into crypto and NFTs in the art world?
Well, I guess like say we talked last year maybe, and now you think, okay, what's different than this year? Like I think there's always a general like adoption slowly over time, but we're not really in the public sphere, I would say. Totally. I'd say it's still like being in the art world itself maybe is a kind of a niche community. And then even within that community, maybe you have like digital artists and Web3 artists. But if you had to think, like, I don't think the general public or society at large is really much different than it was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, and do you think that like the market has sort of stabilized? Do you still sort of see like, huge ups and downs, or is it kind of stabilized? Like how do you see the NFT market overall right now?
I see for people who are in the space, I feel like it's relatively stable. Like like it began at nothing, and we've experienced, like big ups and downs. But like recently, it's been, I think, more of a stable market, which is like a point towards like progress that like holding Bitcoin over the last like year or so has been a positive thing. Um, so people who I think are in the market are benefiting and like seeing more progress than ever, more excited than ever. When that transfers into like the wide scale, or if that even is important, like I don't know, but I'd say the people in the space are evolving very fast, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, I would agree. For those who are kind of at home wondering about the Futures Conference, what would you say kind of like the theme of this year's event is, or even just in Web3 in general? What do you see a lot of focus on?
I think the biggest thing that maybe brings us all together is just the utility of the blockchain technology. Like obviously, like everyone, no matter what industry you're in, like real estate, art, you're in accounting, you're in just business, you're in whatever it is, we're all coming together under the blockchain technology. It's the one thing that we sort of all are using despite our different facets. And like I'm proud to represent maybe the art community or this sort of utility case for it, but I'm also interested in what everyone does with it and how that could affect our wider society. Like, when will we see our government and like politicians begin to use this technology, or what is the stance on that? Like, these sorts of things are interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. For this year's kind of gallery, can you talk us through a little bit about like what the vibe is?
I would say, futurist is very obviously is like high tech. It's very
Yeah.
future, like just the certain images capture the future for some reason. Like, why are these like android looking things and they're fit? Like, why it just seems to be capturing a particular style, or like, I make this type of pop art, and it's like the digital space, bringing pop art into the digital space and this kind of thing. So I think everyone's different, but we're all like in that. It's not even contemporary art. It's sort of like a future of art, which I think is fitting. Right?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it's like making art about the future of art.
Mhm.
That's really cool. It's almost like a picture, it's almost like a self-reflection in
Right.
a sense. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for the great interview. Make sure to follow Goat Gallery. Check out some of their amazing art. Thank you so much for a great interview.
Hey, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure.
Cheers. Hey, what's up?
This is
But it's
Zach.
not something Genzio is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a
How
hive.
many know we do not understand?
Ladies and gentlemen,
We're back at the Genzio Media House.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us today.